He can choose to dismiss her pain, to defend himself with justifications, to bury the guilt beneath distractions. But if he is honest, truly honest, he will have to face the weight of what he has done. That weight is uncomfortable. It demands self-reflection. It asks questions like, what part of me allowed this? Was it arrogance? Was it fear of commitment? Was it selfishness masquerading as freedom? These are not easy questions to sit with, but they are necessary if he is to grow into the kind of man who will not repeat the same harm again. The relationship itself, if it continues, will not be the same. A breach of trust cannot be repaired by mere apology. Words may open the door, but only consistent action can rebuild the bridge. That means showing up when it matters, being transparent in moments where hiding would be easier, choosing self-restraint when temptation calls, and prioritizing her well-being as much as one's own. This process is slow, painfully slow at times, and it requires both people to commit to the hard work of healing. Without that commitment, the relationship will remain a shadow of what it once was. There is also a broader truth here. How we treat those who are good to us reveals our true nature more than how we treat those we fear or admire. It is easy to show respect to a boss, to be kind to a stranger for a moment, to impress someone whose opinion we crave. But the real measure of character is how we treat the ones who love us unconditionally, who have nothing to gain from us except the joy of seeing us happy. Hurting such a person is not just a lapse. It is a failure to recognize the treasure in our hands. And when that treasure is lost, no amount of regret can guarantee it will return. For the woman, walking away may become the only choice left, not out of spite, but out of self-preservation. A good woman will forgive, but she will not endlessly place herself in harm's way. When she chooses to step back, it is often after many silent attempts to repair what was broken. And when she finally does, she leaves not with hatred, but with a quiet resolve. The consequences of hurting a good woman extend far beyond the relationship itself. It changes family dynamics, friendships, even the way both people approach love in the future. For him, there may come a time, perhaps years later, when he realizes what he lost. By then, she may have rebuilt herself into someone even stronger, someone whose heart beats with new wisdom and who offers her trust more carefully. And while this is a victory for her, it remains a silent grief for him, knowing he held something precious and let it slip away. In the end, the lesson is clear, but often learned too late. When you have the trust of a good woman, you hold in your hands not just her affection, but her belief in you, her hope for a shared future, her willingness to stand beside you through life's storms. To harm, that is to wound not just her, but the very bond that makes love possible. And once that bond is broken, it may never be the same again. Discipline is often misunderstood. Many people hear the word and think of rigid schedules, strict rules, and an endless denial of pleasure. They imagine a life stripped of freedom, where every moment is dictated by obligation rather than choice. But true discipline is nothing like this. True discipline is not the enemy of freedom. It is the foundation of it. Without discipline, our desires run wild, pulling us in every direction, scattering our energy across countless distractions until nothing meaningful is achieved. A life without discipline is like a ship without a rudder. It may drift, it may float, but it will never reach a purposeful destination. The real nature of discipline is structure. It is the invisible architecture that allows us to stand upright in a world full of chaos. They return to the path quickly without drowning in shame or excuses. They understand that discipline is not a prison sentence, but a path. And like any path, it can be left and returned to. The goal is not to never stumble. It is to keep moving forward despite the stumbles. Another truth about discipline is that it must be connected to meaning. You cannot sustain discipline on willpower alone. You need a why that is strong enough to carry you through the resistance. If you are disciplined in your health, it might be because you want the energy to live fully and serve others. If you are disciplined in your work, it might be because you want something that will outlast you. Discipline without meaning becomes brittle. It will shatter under pressure. But discipline fueled by purpose becomes unbreakable. In relationships, discipline manifests as consistency and integrity. It is the commitment to listen when it's easier to turn away, to be present when distractions call, to speak with honesty even when the truth is uncomfortable. This kind of discipline nurtures trust. It builds the kind of bond that can withstand misunderstandings, distance, and time. Without it, even love will wither. Passion may ignite a connection, but discipline sustains it. There is also a humility in discipline. It is an acknowledgement that we are not naturally perfect, that we are prone to drift, to waste time, to choose the easier path. Discipline is the conscious act of steering ourselves back toward what matters. It is a daily admission that we need boundaries, not because we are weak, but because we value our potential enough to protect it. Ultimately, discipline is freedom in disguise. It is the quiet force that allows you to stand tall when life tries to push you down, the steady heartbeat that keeps you moving when others have stopped. It is not something you can buy, borrow, or fake. It is something you must earn through repetition, through sacrifice, through the courage to do what is necessary even when it is difficult. And once you have it, it becomes a shield and a compass, guiding you through uncertainty and guarding you from the chaos, both outside and within. Every action we take leaves an imprint on who we are becoming. This is a truth many people overlook because the effects are rarely immediate. We imagine that a single choice, especially a small one, floats in isolation, disconnected from the rest of our lives. But life doesn't work. Life doesn't work like that. Actions do not vanish after they are taken. They echo, they accumulate, and they weave together into the fabric of our identity. And when those actions involve the people we claim to love, the weight they carry is doubled, for they shape not only our own character, but also the way others come to see us. When a man harms a good woman, it is not simply that he has hurt her in that moment. The choice to act in a way that damages someone who trusted him becomes a thread in the larger tapestry of his life. It changes the story he is writing about himself. Every human being lives inside a narrative, a personal mythology about who they are, what they value, and how they treat the people around them. Some men carry the story of being protectors, of being dependable and loyal. Others, knowingly or not, carry the story of being careless, selfish, or untrustworthy. These stories are not written in words, but in patterns of behavior, and once they take root, they are difficult to rewrite. The danger is that we often underestimate how much these patterns matter. You might think it was just a mistake, but the truth is, repeated mistakes become habits, and habits become character. If a man chooses again and again to prioritize his own impulses over the well-being of the woman beside him, he is teaching himself and the world that his desires matter more than his integrity. And the more he reinforces that lesson, the harder it becomes to see himself any other way. The first path leads to a smaller life. The second leads to a life that cannot be easily shaken. And while the second path is more demanding, it is also the one that leads to an unbreakable resolve. The kind of resolve that can carry you through not just this pain, but every challenge yet to come.